Tucked into the corner of northeastern Italy is a diverse and gorgeous region often overlooked by international tourists. And that is really a shame. But where are we in Italy? Well, that would be Friuli Venezia Giulia. Hi there, I'm Jacqueline for Vero, and we go around the world searching out wild and scarce and delicious wines. And lucky for us, Friuli Venezia Giulia has many such wines. But why is this region so special and have so much more to offer in addition to their amazing wines? Let's find out. Friuli Venezia Giulia is often shortened to simply Friuli, or sometimes its initials FVG. From here on out, we will be referring to it as Friuli. The name actually is a relatively recent in the history of the area, with the base of Friuli seeing the addition of Venezia Giulia in the 19th century. This refers both to the nearby Veneto area and the once Venetian or Veneziano in Italian rule. Giulia is actually a reference to Julius Caesar, who founded several Roman cities in the area. And as a note, we've really been inspired for this video thanks to Paul Bach's book, North Adriatic, Friuli Venezia Giulia, West Slovenia, Istria, Kvarner. And in fact, we used it for a lot of the research that went into today's video. We find Friuli in the North Adriatic area, which encompasses several political and cultural regions from Friuli to western Slovenia and northern Croatia, and even includes parts of Istria too. The Adriatic Sea is the body of water running along the Italian peninsula's eastern side. And what we refer to as the North Adriatic area are the countries that run along the top and down the sides of the sea. This is where we find Friuli, tucked into the top corner of Italy between the Austrian and Slovenian borders. And it's for this reason that Friuli is such a fascinating region to get to know and visit. After all, as Paul Bach says in his book, quote, "Nature and wine do not know borders. The borders are political, nothing more than that," unquote. This is why in Friuli we have such a diversity of culture, and you can find that the area has significant influences from Italy, Slovenia, and Austria all intersecting. The history of Friuli is rife with battles, conflicts, sieges, and shifting political borders. Over centuries, this area has found itself under the rule of the Venetians, the Habsburgs, and even the Ottomans at a certain point. Before finally in World War II, they ended up being drawn into the Italian borders, and this is where they stayed. These wars and shifting borders have left the area culturally distinct and diverse, but unfortunately, especially after World War II, it also left it as one of the poorest regions of Italy. And because of this, agriculture has always been a big part of life in Friuli. Growing food for personal sustenance and trade was commonplace all over. And it was because of this that agriculture has always been a big part of life in Friuli. It was in the 60s and onward that there was an agricultural boom of development, and the prowess of Friuli began to become known across the world along with their wines. And today, the region is now prosperous with a high quality of life and products. Many of the products are famous from this area exactly because they are so high quality. Things like radicchio from Gorizia and prosciutto from San Daniele. Agriculture works so well here in Friuli thanks to a generally mild climate. And this is because the warm air from the Adriatic Sea comes in and is very favorable to agriculture and grapes, especially white wines that are very much prized from this area, but we'll get into that in a moment. This gives the grapes one of the longest growing seasons in all of Italy. Another moderating factor here that is really a mainstay to the region is the Bora winds. These Bora winds circulate in the area, keeping fresh, clean air always in plenty supply. And they're most active in the autumn and winter, perfect for drying out late harvest grapes and making passito wines. These Bora winds can actually be dangerous at times, with, as Paul Bach says in his book, quote, "At its most intense, the Bora can reach wind speeds of 150 kilometers per hour, strong enough to blow trucks off the highways," unquote. The soil here is also really unique, with the most famous being the locally termed ponca soil, also called flish. It's a layered marl and sandstone soil that is rich in chalk and sand. The ratio of the components vary depending on where you are and where the vineyard lies, but generally it has a high pH, and this helps impart minerality and special characteristics in the wine. And this ponca soil is what makes highly prized wine in Friuli. Overall, in Friuli, we see winemaking primarily taking place in the southern half of the region. Anecdotally, Prosecco and Glera can actually be made here, although it's not nearly as prized as it is from the neighboring Veneto and Valdobbiadene areas. The largest area of winemaking that's inland is called Friuli Grave, And along the coast, we find dotted various other denominations that continue up and along the Slovenian border. And one of the most prized of the inland along the border denominations is known as Friuli Orientale. As we mentioned, wines from Friuli benefit from a long growing season, good weather, and great diurnal fluctuation that gives complexity. And all of this is further bolstered by a wealth of native varieties that have survived in the area. While international varieties are found because of cultural crossovers like Cabernet Franc, Sauvignon Blanc, Merlot, Pinot Noir, and many others, it's the indigenous varieties where Friuli wines really shine. These are white grapes like Malvasia Istriana, Ribolla Gialla, Friulano, Piccoli, and red grapes like Rifosco and the amazing peppery Schioppettino, which we actually have a few videos on that you should head over and check out after this one. But interestingly, a large percentage of Friulan wines are actually drunk locally within Friuli itself and not sent out. If you are interested in tasting some Friuli wines, as always, we highly recommend Vigna Petrusa. Cited by Ian D'Agata as one of the best under-the-radar states in Italy, this winery has been run and operated by women for 3 generations. Located in the Colli Orientali, they make a wide variety of wines, dry and sweet, white and red, blends, single varieties, and of course, amazing selections of both international and indigenous varieties. We cannot praise their Schioppettinos enough, which is actually thanks to second generation Hilde Petrusa that have survived. You can find their wines in the Vero shop at verovino.com that I'll have linked below for purchase directly online, or contact us for wholesale prices if you're a business or distributor. And in the meantime, before you head over and check out the wines, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this exploration of Friuli, make sure to sign up for our newsletter, also on verovino.com, to stay abreast of the latest news and content that we have coming out. I'll see you in the next video, which might just be this one about Vigna Petrusa from Friuli. Bye!